All right, hello everyone. Let's get started. So, welcome back to another webinar. I am Miss Via, and sorry, one second. Let me stop sharing. So, we have another webinar today, and today we also have four current FFLV scholars who will be going over their college experience thus far and answering any questions you may have. So, let's have our special guests of the evening introduce themselves. You can go ahead, George.
Hello everyone, my name is Jorge Alonso. I'm a fourth year college student. I go to UNLV and my major is in X-ray.
All right. Oh, sorry about that, Jorge. And then Paola.
Hi, my name is Paola Cruz. I am a first year student at Nevada State College and I am majoring in speech pathology.
Thank you. And Janessa.
Hi guys, my name is Janessa and I'm a second year student at Nevada State and my major is secondary education.
Thank you, Janessa. And last but not least, Angelica.
Hi everyone, I'm Angelica Tabuhara. I'm a second year public health major at UNLV.
All right, so thank you all for all those introductions. So today our panelists are here to answer your questions about being in college. So if at any time you have any questions, please put them in the chat, or you can click your little button that's on the bottom that says raise your hand. And that way I can allow you to come off mute and then you can ask a panelist a question directly yourself. So we'll just go ahead and just get started. With a last reminder, just to stay till the end because we do have a few announcements for you. But yeah, we'll just get started. So I'll ask the first question, and if anybody has a question at any time, please go ahead and put them in the chat now so that we can get your questions started answering them. So I'll start with a first question. As a college student, what are some things that were unexpected in your experience as a college student now that you have witnessed or whatever in terms of like that you weren't really expecting as a high school student? So coming into college, what was something that was really unexpected to you that you didn't think you'd learn or witness or anything like that?
I feel like most of the time it's just like getting to know what classes you're going into. Like you don't know if your friends are going to be there or not because some of them like go to different colleges and stuff. And also the workload, like coming in from high school to college is a lot different. It's a lot more work than in high school.
I'm just gonna jump off of that. For me, something that was unexpected was how much the college professors actually care. I don't know. I've talked to some of my friends and some of their college professors, like their college professors, maybe it depends on the major. But as for me, I was used to hearing in high school that, your college professors aren't going to care about you. So you have to really like do things for yourself. You really have to maintain things yourself. But in my case, I've actually had a lot of college professors care about like showing up, care about, getting your work done or office hours, attending office hours. My recommendation for everyone is to like get on your professor's good side. You don't know when you'll need something from them, like letters of recs, like letters of recommendations. They'll come in really useful and they can connect you in ways that you didn't even know that you needed. So yeah, that was one thing for me is knowing that college professors actually care, and they'll talk to you if you need it. Another thing was they're not kidding. Like when they tell you like you're gonna have absolute freedom in college, you pretty much have absolute freedom, and you have to be really wise with how you spend your time. I know you can get caught up in it because in high school you didn't have that time, but be wise with how you spend that time. You don't want to play catch up towards the end of the semester. That's all.
Okay, so I think I'll jump in there as well. So like she said, there is a lot of freedom. So when you're choosing your classes and when you're, if you're an online student, like fully online before all of this COVID stuff, then it does take a lot of discipline, and you're really like, in high school you have your counselors who make your your schedule for you, but you make it for yourself. So you have to be really hands-on, and you have to know what you're doing, and you just have to ask a lot of questions, especially if you're confused. Like, it's okay to ask a lot of questions. It's okay to be confused, and there are a lot of people around to help you. And that's it.
All right, thank you. So we do have a couple questions already in the chat. Thank you so much for putting those there. I'm going to jump around a little bit just because one of the questions kind of ties into what we just talked about. So I see, have you learned time management skills? Do you have any tips on that?
I wouldn't really
Sorry.
give any tips because it's like how you work, because if I give you something, it might not work for you, but it works for me. But I don't know. I can't really give you tips on that.
Yeah, I think it just depends on the person. Like I can easily do homework, 30 minutes before it's due, but then there's other times where I have to start it like a week or two in advance to be able to understand the material.
Bouncing off of what they both said, I feel like everyone definitely has their own style of time management. It's really funny because I always ask people, like older people, like, how do you guys manage your time? And I get the same answer. It's all pretty general, like, oh, use a planner, use Google Calendars. My lifeline is Google Calendars. If I don't have that in check, I can't get on with my day, unfortunately. But I really think it really depends on the person. You have to know yourself, what works for you. I'm kind of going on a brief part, but yeah, just take that time to reflect on like what works for you truly, and don't force things that don't work for you, because there's like I don't know if you guys know what passion planners are, but I had a passion planner and it was like, yeah, you're gonna like do so well in life because you have a passion planner. And I like tried to force myself to use it, and it just didn't work out for me at all. So definitely that's something that you should take into consideration. Don't force anything that does not work for you. Get to take the time to get to know what like yourself and how you work.
Great, thank you. That is actually exceptional advice. You really have to figure out what's best for you. Try different things, be really open to different things. I know something that's worked for me because I still am a current college student. This is my last semester, but something that's worked for me is like time blocking specifically. So what that means is I dedicate specific times to focus on different things. So for me, I work, I go to school, I have an internship that I do, and then I also have a club that I'm president of. And I'm not really great at multitasking. So what I do is block out times to only think about that specific part of my life. Like if I am in work mode, then I'm not thinking of anything that's school related, internship related, club related, or anything like that. And on top of that, I try my hardest to get everything done during the week. Like I haven't had this last 2 years, I've like forced myself to sit down during the week to get all my homework done. And so I've always made sure that I have my weekends open to just relax and not worry about anything. So going back to the questions, we're going to start with why did you pick your majors, or what led you to them?
So I actually ended up changing my major, but my first pick was pre-nursing, and it was just like, I guess the way that I picked it is just I always knew that I wanted to like work in the medical field and do something with medicine. But it's I don't think, at least for me, I don't think you should like stick to the first major you pick. Like try out different things. Like if you want, go undecided, like, or pick something, and then if you feel like, okay, this maybe isn't for me, choose something else. Because if you stick to one major, I feel like you're gonna burn yourself out really quickly.
Yeah, just to go off on that, I guess it just depends on what you like too, because sometimes what you like might not be necessarily a good major for you. Because like let's say you like astronomy, but like once you start taking those classes, it's just like it might be difficult or something like that. Well, I chose my major on accident, believe it or not, but I ended up liking it, so I don't know. That's kind of how I went.
For
Um,
me, oh,
oh,
sorry, go ahead, go
sorry.
ahead.
No. Okay. So I chose my major. It was like senior night for volleyball, and they ask you like all these questions for the future. And I was like, oh my goodness, I don't know. And then I just put, oh, I'll just go to school for secondary education. So, and I just put that because, you know, I plan on being an English teacher for the high school level, right? So, I just used like what I like to do. So I in high school I was in like student council and different kinds of clubs and stuff, and I really liked the engagement with other people. Um, and when you're in a higher role and you're like teaching other people in your club and stuff, I thought it was really fun, and I was like, I could really get down with this. So um, I was like, I should just be a teacher, and I like English because it's not like math where everything is like black and white and 2 plus 2 equals 4 and there's no arguing about it. I like English because my senior year, my English teacher, he did like debates and stuff in English class, and I was like, I like having discussions and I like talking about the bigger picture. And so I was like, let's put two and two together and become an English teacher, and that's it.
Yeah, I'll jump off that too. It's like I think a lot of this relates to like knowing like what you like, obviously. But for me, I chose public health because I wasn't initially public health. I was in these initially because I played sports, PT. I was going for kinesiology. But then I kind of explored and I learned more about community health sciences because there's like 3 sciences within like one college, and I found out about public health, and I found like I just kind of related things, and I've always enjoyed community service. I've always enjoyed helping people in the community, so that's where I kind of like brought that back and was like, oh, like public health is basically like that, and you study that and do that, and so I just kind of want to make a career out of it, and I love what I do. Don't be scared to explore. It's not, trust me, I know you might like, it might seem like a waste of time, but you learn like in every class that you take. You will learn and just make the best of it.
Awesome answers. Thank you guys. That makes perfect sense. Don't be afraid to explore, go out there. If you change your major once or 20 times, trust me, it happens. It's totally fine because you don't want to end up graduating with the degree that you're never going to use or you wind up not liking. Make the most time of something that you're paying a lot of money for this, so make sure that you are exploring what you want and doing what you want to do, no matter what anybody else says either, because sometimes I know like families can get very involved and stuff as well. But yeah, just make the most of your time and be there for you and do exactly what it is you want to do, because if you're learning something that you love, it'll be extremely fun and extremely worth it in the end. All right, so we're gonna go back to the questions. What is your favorite part of being a college student?
Having a lot of freedom. You basically choose your path. It's not like high school where like your counselors tell you, okay, this is what you're going to be taking and this is what you're going to be doing. And here, like you choose what you want to do. So it's kind of what I like about college.
Yeah, so just what he said is like we have a lot of freedom, and that can be a bittersweet kind of thing, but for the most part it's kind of sweet. So um I just like the freedom. I like that I have the power to choose if I want to be an in-person student or an online student, if I want to take this class, if I don't. I had like this science class my first year. And the first day the professor was going on and on about like all the things that we had due already in the first week. And I was like, excuse me, I'm an English major. And so I dropped his class and I did a different class, and you have the power to do that. But if you're in high school and you don't like your teacher, you don't like your science class, you have to keep going. You can't just like drop it. So I do love the freedom. It's really fun.
I think for me, it's getting to meet a whole bunch of different people, with the exception of now that we're in a pandemic. But pre-pandemic days, just meeting all sorts of people from different walks of life. You get to talk to people who you never thought you'd meet, but you just happen to take the same class. I really enjoy insight from other people. I feel like you learn a lot of lessons when you talk to other people as well. So yeah, that was my favorite part, but hopefully the pandemic eases up soon so you guys can experience that as well.
Yeah, I think my favorite part, because I obviously started college during the pandemic, I feel like it's gonna sound kind of dumb, but my favorite part of it is being able to go to campus. Cause like right now you're in your room, you're like holed up in here for like hours straight. Being able to go to campus is just like, oh, you're experiencing that college feel that you don't get when you're in your room on your computer every day.
Oh, I just wanted to say, Paula, that the campus is really nice at Nevada State, so I think you'll be happy.
All right, so speaking of, I know we kind of touched on COVID a little bit. So bringing that up, how have you handled college after COVID-19 hit? Do you like online classes or in-person classes? How has this affected you, Paola, especially being a first-year student? Talk about that as well.
Oh yeah, I honestly feel like I haven't even graduated high school yet. Like it sounds weird, but I feel like I haven't left because I haven't been able to like. I've gone to campus a few times. Like I haven't been able to get out, wake up, wake up early, and get ready to go to campus. Like because I live literally across the street from the high school that I went to, I see it every day. So I feel like I'm not. I feel like I'm not a college student, even though I have the workload and the responsibilities and the stress of it.
For me, since I'm a medical student, it's a little bit harder to teach you how to do like what you're supposed to do online than it is to do it actually like applying it in the clinics. So for me, for X-ray, at least learning it online is a lot harder than it is actually doing it in the hospital. So yeah, it's pretty hard. But right now, it's just like since it's my last year, supposedly, all we do is just like clinical reports or like case studies. So we just look at images all day and like figure out what kind of like disease it is and all that stuff.
So uh, before the pandemic, I was already a full-time online student. And personally, I liked it more because, first of all, I live very far away from Nevada State, but also I just felt like I wasn't getting what I needed in in-person classes. And basically, when you're an online student, you teach yourself, you create your own routine, and you have to have a lot of discipline with that. And you learn as much as you allow yourself to learn in online. Um, but because of the pandemic, everything has been closed down. My job was closed for almost a year, and working at home got a lot harder because there wasn't an outlet for me to go out and just like relax, even at work, have free time. So being confined in here was a lot harder. I found myself going through like a little like rut. I couldn't really think of a lot of words to put onto my essays and stuff like that. So I would just say if you do like go online and you like to be an online student, just have an outlet to where you can express yourself or relax, or get out of the house because it's necessary.
I don't like it. I don't like online classes. I'll be straight up. But so before COVID, I was doing hybrid, so I had half in person and half online, and I was like, wow, this is great. Online classes, so much freedom. And then the pandemic hit, and I was like, it feels like it's a different type of freedom. I didn't like it at all, just because I'm also I'm a visual learner. I like to and I like to learn in person and interact with people and have these conversations. Um, and it wasn't fun. It wasn't a nice transition, but I guess it was better it wasn't as bad as other students, just because I had already experienced online learning. Um, like Janessa said, it's a lot of discipline. And it's truly what you make of it. Last semester, I didn't make anything of it. I honestly felt like the material is there for you. But if you just choose to do the assignments and not really absorb the information, you're not going to get anything of it. And I mean, that's completely up to you whether you're just here for the degree or not. But I I really regret doing that, and I'm trying my best this semester. But yeah, truly, it is what you make of it. College in general, I feel like.
All right, thank you. I mean, I think that's actually a really great point that you bring up, Angelica. She really misses in-person classes. And for someone like me, I actually love only being online. I think with my major specifically, all of my classes are online except like maybe one or two of them. So I really only ever had like my entire college experience online classes, but for me, it's something that works and I love it, especially just because I'm doing so much all the time. I feel like it's really good for me on a time management kind of wise thing. So I would also say make sure that you're exploring that as well. Because you may think that you're like, hey, I want to make sure I have on like in-person classes, but then you take them and then you're like, maybe I like online, or maybe you like a mix of both. Excuse me. My voice started giving out. Maybe you like a mix of both, but that's something that you can explore as well. Is if you like in person, take in person. If you like online, take online, or try both and try to do whichever one fits best for you. So we have another question in the chat, but this one is specifically for Paola. I plan on going to NSC, not me, I'm reading for the person. And I want to ask what do you like and dislike about NSC? Maybe I don't know if I didn't listen, but if anybody else has gone to NSC, if you can answer that question as well, I would say go ahead. So going to NSC, what do you like and dislike about it?
I think I like that it's like very homey. It's a very homey feeling, if that makes sense. Like I came into the school in the Nepala program, so I was able to meet like a bunch of first generation students and like people that were in my shoes. I was able to, even though it was online, I was able to get to know a lot of people experience college before actually starting it. I think that was one thing that I really liked. Um, I don't really know anything that I dislike just because I haven't gone to the campus that much. But yeah, that's just one of the things that I really enjoyed about it.
So I did my first year at Nevada State, and it was mostly in person because when you're a freshman and all that, they try to like get you acclimated with the campus and stuff. So they put you in person at first. Um, I just wanted to say that my experience with a few of my professors wasn't the greatest. But then again, there's a whole lot of other professors around, so you really just have to, explore. And I would say use this website called Rate My Professor, so that you can see what other people think of them as well. Um, but something that I do like about NSC is that it is kind of like the class sizes are smaller. So like Paola said, that it's a very homey feel. So when you're in person, there's not like 100 students in the classroom. You probably won't even experience maybe 30 kids or 30 students in the classroom. So if you do have like issues, and if your professor is a great professor, you'll get that hands-on experience, that one-on-one experience that I think is really beneficial, and will obviously help you in the long run.
Great. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Just going off what Janessa said about Rate My Professor. it works on like most majors, but for my major, it doesn't really work because the teachers that you meet throughout the years are going to be the same teachers that you're going to be stuck with for the rest of the program. So I don't know. I don't know what to tell you on that.
Yeah, thank you. I've definitely looked at Rate My Professor probably every semester. So it can be very helpful, but yeah, a lot of times you do also wind up working with the same professor, so it may not matter, but it is helpful to go and check as well as make sure that you're putting in the stuff that you think about that professor as well, because if they're terrible, make sure you let other people know, or if they're amazing, also make sure that other people know that as well. All right, so this is a question for anyone. Were you ever confused on what you wanted to major in while you were in high school? So this person says, like, personally, they feel like picking a major has a lot of pressure. So did you experience pressure, and were you ever confused about maybe what you wanted to do or anything like that?
I'll go ahead and answer this. I had a lot of pressure. Um, my parents wanted me to be a nurse or a doctor. I'm Filipino. It's a huge stereotype for us. So, yeah, and there's a lot of pressure there. So honestly, it I'm like reliving high school because there's a lot of pressure. It was a lot, but I knew that I could not go on. Like, even if I tried to force nursing or being a doctor, I could not force it because I know that there's going to be that brick wall that I'm going to hit that only passion can like lift me over. There's going, and like, no matter how much my parents want me to do that, you're going to hit a wall. And the only way you're going to get through that wall is with passion. So that's I just repeated what I said, but that's my piece on that. That's my 2 cents on that. Do what makes you happy. My parents eventually came around after a while, but like, this is your life. You're the one who has to deal with it for the rest of it. And so just keep that in mind. Don't let the pressure, get to you. I know there's a lot of pressure also being made with money in mind and like your income. Honestly, it'll come. You guys just have to do what makes you happy. And with that, you guys can have your own opinions on like whether money can buy you happiness or not, but just do what makes you happy.
So yeah, I wanted to just jump on that is like when I told people that I wanted to like work like be an educator, they were like, what? They don't make a lot of money. You can be a lawyer or, a doctor or whatnot. And I was like, well, I don't really want to do that stuff. What I want to do is something that I can have, creative will, be in my own element. And I've always wanted to, engage with younger generations and hopefully, guide some of those younger generations to being like future changer people, So yeah, you do experience if your parents or if the people around you, you do experience like financial pressure, reputation like if it's a higher class kind of job or whatnot, or whatever. You do experience that kind of pressure. I've experienced it, but for what I say is don't listen to what they say. Do what you want to do. Like Angelica said, it's your life and only passion is going to bring you through the finish line. I find my greatest enjoyments are when I'm engaging in my education classes and we're talking about changing curriculums or the psychology of students and stuff like that. Like that's what makes me happy. And when I feel like not doing my homework and stuff and I see the assignment, what it's about, and I see it's something like that, I'm like, oh, this is kind of fun. And it helps me. So just don't listen to what other people say.
Yeah, I feel like I can relate with that too. Like, when I was in my senior year, I was like, yes, I want to be a pediatrician. Is what I want to do. But then I was like, no, I don't think that's something that I would enjoy. So then I was like, okay, I'm gonna major in pre-nursing, and then instantly I was just thrown with, but they don't make as much money as doctors. Like you're gonna be taking orders and not giving them, and I'm like, well, that's not what I. That's like, you're not gonna go into a job, um, with it in mind that you're gonna earn a lot of money. Like obviously, you want to be able to get a job that is gonna be able to you're gonna be able to be financially stable, but it's like you don't want to go into um a major because you're feeling like you're pressured. I think that's something that you need to like keep in mind too.
Yeah, I feel like I guess my best advice that I would give myself if I was applying for college is just like look up the major and then look up the classes and then look up the catalog of each of those individual classes and see if you'll like it. Because I mean, for me, I always wanted to do medical, and when I applied, I didn't read the whole thing. It just says pre-med, so I just said, okay, apply it pre-med, but I didn't read the rest, so I said pre-medical imaging or comprehensive medical imaging. So now I'm stuck with X-ray, but I ended up liking it, so that kind of worked out in my favor. But just like look up what you like, have an idea what you want to be, and then just look it up. Don't worry about the money either. Like if worry is your like money is your priority, I wouldn't do that career.
Great, thank you for all of that information. Yeah, a lot of the time, things don't work out exactly how you planned or anything like that. So one of the things that I've heard that that I think is really great piece of advice is be committed to the outcome, but flexible on how to get there. So if you have a committed outcome that you want to have, make sure that you're on your route to that. Be flexible because it might not be the way specifically that you think it's going to go. So going back to that and talking about your high school experiences and how that's connected to your decision in college and whatever, was college always a plan after high school for you? Or did you think about something else? Did you ever settle on college? But yeah, was high school a plan? Was college always a plan after high school for you specifically?
Uh, okay, I'll go. Okay. So yes, college was always a plan for me, even when I didn't know what I wanted to do. Um, and I did want to go to like a UC school. I wanted to get out of, Nevada and leave everybody behind here and go explore in California and whatnot. But you learn that it's more logical to stay home and more financially like better for you. But anyways, besides that, uh what was the question?
Was college always a plan for you after high school?
Yeah, sorry, I sometimes I get off topic, but yeah, college was always a plan for me because I see the value in a degree. Um, our world is changing and people are becoming they're becoming like more educated, I should say. So competition gets a little bit harder. It gets a little bit more intense. So whether you have a degree or not, or if you have a degree, it works in your favor, even if you don't end up using it, you can at least say you're college educated. Or if you go to school for a trade, that kind of, I think like certifications and degrees are really important for the future. Um, Rich people can disagree with me, celebrities can disagree with me, but for the everyday person like myself, there's value in furthering your education.
Yeah, when I was first like since I was in elementary school, I was like, yes, I'm gonna go to college. I'm going to do all this and earn money and be someone that like people can look up to. Because I feel like being a first generation student, even though I didn't make that my whole identity, but like being a first generation student, I was like, yeah, I want to be able to like show my cousin, my siblings, like my mom that like, even though they came here, they struggled, like I'm still gonna be that. I'm still gonna like I'm not gonna take advantage. I'm no, hold on. I'm not I don't know the word, but I'm not just gonna sit here and like not do anything when I have all like the opportunities. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to go to college.
Yeah, college was also a plan for me because it was always a thing for me because my parents migrated here from the Philippines and like the whole we did this for you. You're gonna go to college. Yes, you're going to make a name for yourself because we came here for you. So yeah, that was the plan. But I think something that I have to point out is that for people who I kind of just want to tie into one of our panel questions that Amy gave us, but for the people who are on edge about going to college or like making that decision, I say like even if you think that it might not be for you, try it. You can't I don't think you should bash it. Oh no. I don't think you should bash on it until you try it. There's no harm in trying it. So try it, you might like it, try it, you might not, but at least you won't go into the future and like ask questions, ask the what ifs. Just try it.
Sorry, I lost my mouse there for a second. Yes, those are both really great points. And to add to that also, college isn't for everybody. It can be. So if college isn't a thing for you, maybe it isn't right now. Maybe it is later, and that happens as well. And there's nothing wrong with that either. So we'll continue with the questions because we still have quite a few. So don't worry, we'll be continuing to answer everybody's questions. What is the most valuable lesson you've learned while being in college? So it says whether this be learned inside the classroom or just from navigating college in general. So what is the most valuable lesson you have learned?
I guess for me, just everything we learn in class, we're gonna be applying it outside. So that's kind of like a no-brainer in a way. But yeah, just like take away everything that you learn from your classroom and then apply it to the real world, even if you can't, but at least try to do it.
So I guess a valuable lesson that I have learned is that there is you have to be transparent, and I guess you have to like, communication and stuff is really important. I didn't know that, communicating with my professors or telling them, if my mental health isn't doing so well, or, if my health is not well or whatnot, you know what I mean? Like, communicating with your professors is is actually really beneficial. And I feel like it can be misconstrued that, they're too serious, or they're not going to understand what you're going through, but you're going to meet a lot of compassionate people, and that you should just trust that if you're transparent and if you're honest, that it will get you so far. And people will be, there will be a compromise. So yeah, just communication is really good, and being honest.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back on what she said too. Like communication really is the key in college, even though like for me, I'm still really like terrified of communicating with my professors. But it's like that's just something you not that you have to get over, but like something that you should really take into account, that being able to communicate with your professors is gonna be something that's gonna take you really far in college. Like that's gonna be something that's just like you're gonna have to get used to.
Take care of yourself. That's like one of the biggest things you have to like. College is overwhelming. We can all tell you about how overwhelming it is to waste our time, but you guys get the point that college is overwhelming, and it's really important to have that space where you guys are just okay. You guys have to know what works for you in terms of self-care, even if it means like do the things that you enjoy. Like an assignment can wait for a little bit. Like if you are not okay, take the time to acknowledge that. First step is acknowledge it, because you can't fix a problem without acknowledging it first, and then take those steps to like to actually fix them. I think one of the biggest things for me with in terms of like self-care, one of the biggest misconceptions is that it's easy. Self-care is not as easy as it sounds. because it's a lot of like exploring about like what works for you. Healing is harder than it seems. It's like the time that you take out of your day to like meet with a friend or like get something to eat with a friend is the same. The value of that time is the same time that you should be giving to yourself. You deserve it. Know that you deserve these things. Take care of yourself, because I mean the whole world is out to get you. And also connect with people who help you like take care of yourself. Surround yourself with a good environment, because if you don't, it's bad. It's bad juju. Bad energy is not good. Definitely make sure that you're around people who are motivating you to be the best version of yourself as well.
Very great advice. So thank you all for sharing that. I just want to touch real quick on a comment. So somebody says that they want to be a kindergarten teacher, and you have to have a bachelor's degree to become a teacher. Yes and no. I mean, to be a teacher, there are like, you can go into a specific like degree to get a teacher and be in elementary education or secondary education, or even human services. You can wind up as a teacher. Teach for America, you can get a degree for anything, but if you go through Teach for America, they can place you as a teacher somewhere else. There's alternative licensures for things. So there's a lot of aspects going around that, but yes, overall bachelor's degree is better to be a teacher, but technically there's just so many things going around it. So I would definitely look into that and see which route is best for you, because there's lots of routes and it's okay to take whichever one is going to work for you. So the next question we have, what are the professors like at NSC in your experience? What have they been like?
The professors that I've had were actually pretty like okay, or actually sounds really bad, but they were good. I really liked them. There are some professors, hopefully I don't get them, that like are gonna be like on you about your assignment. At least the ones that I got were like really nice. If you had a problem, they would like answer it. They'll stay be like after the class is over, they'll stay in the Zoom call with you if you have any questions. Like all the ones that I've had were pretty like they were okay, they were good.
So I have had some professors who weren't as good. They're just like maybe a little bit passive aggressive, or like they're they're just mean sometimes. And you can't help it. There's just a lot of mean people around the world, so you're gonna run into a few eventually. But for the most part, my professors have been awesome. They love they communicate with me weekly. So like in Canvas, if you guys are familiar with it, you'll get announcements or like inboxes or emails, and they communicate with me weekly. This professor in particular, she has made it a point to meet with her students at least once in the semester, like video to video, um, and she's very compassionate. She's very understanding. She understands that like in the state that we're in, it's okay to not be okay. So for like I said earlier, you're gonna meet some really compassionate people. So just look out for it. And the people who are mean, you're just gonna have to deal with them. But they're pretty cool.
Great, thanks you guys. I'm just gonna add to that you're gonna find good professors and bad professors at any university or college that you decide to go to. Doesn't really matter where, just like there's good teachers in high school and then there's really bad teachers in high school as well. I think the important part is to build those relationships, because those relationships are exceptionally up to you. Reach out to your professor, talk to them, just let them know who you are, because like Angelica mentioned earlier, like those will definitely pay off later on during the semester, year, or anything, especially if you have that professor again, like Jorge mentioned, that you have a lot of the same professors as well. So build those relationships and make that an important part of your college experience as well. All right, so our next question is, do you have any mental health tips? So being stuck at home has affected a lot of our mindsets. What do you do to help you cope and get out of that mindset?
So I actually really like my mental health really struggled when I started college, especially this spring semester. Like I really my mental health has not been the greatest. Like I'm not gonna lie and sit here and be like, yeah, no, nothing happened. Like no, my mental health hasn't been the greatest. But I think one thing that did help me was I was able to find distractions, whether they be Netflix shows, games, I don't know, like hobbies. Like I was able to find things that I was able to take my mind off the things that were making me really stressed, things that were costing me all of this like just mental baggage, and that's been helping me. But it's also good to like try to reach out to people that are also in like not this like in the same situation as you. I was able to reach out to like a bunch of my friends that were like also struggling with their mental health, and we were able to like share tips, I guess, with things that we were able to do and to use to be able to like help ourselves a little.
I can't really talk
Oh,
much about mental health, and I don't know. I just like the stress life, so there's me. But I guess when COVID hit, I just like started talking to most of all of my friends that I had in high school. Because like after high school, I just kind of ghosted everybody and just went off on my own, you know. But once this like everybody's kind of feeling down and everything, I just started reaching out to everybody, see how they're doing and all that stuff.
yeah. So for self-care, I would say that, working out is or just being active in general, going on a walk or whatever. It really helps your mental health. Also just like, taking care of yourself, if you like to cook yourself a really nice, delicious meal and, eat it. It's fine. But for me personally, I was getting into like just like watching a bunch of YouTube videos, like baking videos. Those are really fun. Um, and also like skincare, like getting into your skin, making sure that you wanna feel your best, look your best. Um, and then yeah, also like going to work is a really nice way to distract yourself, but because of the pandemic, I wasn't at work for a long time, so my mental health was like really suffering. I get to work with kids, so like just being around them and being around their energy was really nice for me, and it was a really nice breakaway from adults and assignments and deadlines and stuff. So I'm back at work now, so it's a lot more fun. I feel much more energized, and yeah, that's the kind of self care that I like to take part in.
So for my I kind of I took some advice from my first year seminar class. I'm not saying that this is the formula to success, but one of the things that my professor mentioned was that like there's two things that the most successful people do, and it's self-reflect and exercise. Not like exercise, like like vigorous exercise, but like Janessa said, like just be active, clear your mind. It distracts. The exercise is good because it distracts yourself from this. It tires out your body and it distracts yourself from whatever's going on in your mind. So definitely like exercise is fun. And it doesn't even have to be like strenuous. So you can make it enjoyable. You can go out for a hike. I love hiking. So if you guys like need any hiking spots, like I'll tell you, it's one of my outlets. I also journal. And with journaling, literally I feel like everyone there's like the stigma with there's just the stigma with journaling that there's a certain way to do it and there's no certain way to do it. It's literally you talking to yourself and like literally whatever thoughts you have in your head, don't even think twice, just write it down because it helps to let it out. And the journal is nice because it doesn't talk back to you. And like if you're scared of judgment or whatever, you get to let it out in the way that you want to. So yeah, other things I do, I love music, so I'm sure a lot of us love music. It's a great outlet. I play instruments. I love selective bake. And yeah, don't be scared to indulge yourself, treat yourself, you deserve it. Eat what Not eat everything. Eat at a moderate pace, but balance it out with some exercise. Yeah, that's some things I do. Journal, big, go outdoors a lot, music. I play the guitar as well. So yeah, those are some things. Hang out with friends. Not right now, but when it's safe. Discord is cool. If you guys don't know what Discord is, you can socialize through there. Anyway.
But I still want to add one more thing. I know they're saying X doesn't go out, like that is a really good a really good distraction. But I know at least for me, like I absolutely hated when people would tell me like, oh, go drink some water, like go outside, like breathe in fresh air. Like there's times where you don't have the mental or physical strength to get out of bed in the mornings, you know. And if that's happening, like go ahead, like stay in bed all day if you feel like that's gonna make you help better. Like don't feel like you have to get out and like be active when you mentally can't.
Yeah, so I just also wanted to add on to that. Um, you know, f- journaling is really cool, but if you don't really like writing, just pretend to make YouTube videos. I feel like there's a stigma with like talking to yourself, and it can be labeled as, kind of weird or whatever. But I feel like, I would set my phone right in front of me and I would talk for an hour at a time and just like go through my day, go through what my goals were, how I was feeling, why I was feeling that way, and how I could change the way I was feeling if I didn't like it. I would do my to-do list in my head, like, so this is what I'm going to do this day, and then I'm going to do this and this and this, and then if I don't get to this, it's all right. I'm doing fine, everything's going to be okay. So I would make like little vlogs for myself.
All right, thank you guys so much. So just a quick note, we are kind of coming up on time, but we do have a few, like quite a bit of questions left. And this is really great. I don't want to cut off anybody. So please just bear with us as we go through the rest of the questions, because I really want to make sure that we get all of these answered. So we more than likely will go a little bit over time. All right, so our next question, any tips for handling senioritis? I mean, I'm just gonna add real quick. So I'm in my last semester at UNLV as a college student, so I have senioritis, and I feel like I talk about just crying all the time. Like I just think about, like, it's really hard when you know you're at the end of something and you still have to continue. So senioritis for me as a college student, I feel like was even worse than when I was a high school senior. It's just really tough because you just know you're right there at the end, and I just feel like I don't want to do anything ever. But it's also your last semester, so you have to do everything all the time. But yeah, it's tough. Any tips for handling it? Just push through. That's all I'm trying really hard to push through and just get things done. Like I said, one of my biggest tips is I time block and make sure I get all of my schooling done during the week, and then I don't have to worry about it later. So that's been really helpful for me personally, because I don't like to think about school when I don't have to. So, but if you guys remember going through like high school senioritis, what pushed you through that?
For me, it was remembering why you started in the first place. Whenever you're feeling down, I think it really helps to remember, like, why did I start this journey in the first place? Remember what your goals are. Oh, senioritis hit me so hard in high school. I didn't want it, like like you said, I didn't want to do anything at all. But knowing the rewards that come after should give you that at least like a little bit more push. And also like talking to your friends who are also experiencing senioritis, that goes along with, like, for anything that you might be struggling with. I think it really helps to find common ground with people and know that you're not alone. You're not alone. A lot of people are experiencing senioritis, and talking about it helps.
Yeah, so I feel like I experienced, or senioritis started to hit me my sophomore year of high school. I mean, it was just really hard to like go to school and stuff, but I feel like, let's just remember this, that senioritis is a very valid, you know, it's a very valid thing, everybody's going through it. If people say they aren't going through it, I think they're lying. But it's not the end all, that's for sure. You can't just use like senioritis as like your end all excuse to excuse your behavior and whatnot. But what got me through senioritis was obligating myself to like achieve. So like if you're an athlete in high school, you have to have a certain GPA to play. So I would use that to keep my GPA up, to keep my attendance going. And then like if you wanted to participate in like events at school, you had to go to class, if you wanted to be in student council, you had to have this certain GPA and stuff like that. So I would just I used fun things that obligated me to achieve and to attend and to keep going.
Yeah, I feel like honestly, I feel like because I went like most of the ending of my senior year online and I didn't really do anything, I feel like senioritis didn't really hit me as hard as it should have or as it would have had. But I know that starting when I was starting in my fall semester, that's when I was like, oh, I don't know. Like I know that in one of my math practice tests, I had a whole breakdown. I was crying. So I was like, no, this isn't, I don't want to do this because I was just like, I finished high school. Why do I need to keep going? But it's just like, it's just that motive. There's always a certain motivator for me. I can't really like pinpoint specific motivators, but there's always there's always going to be that specific motivator that's going to be like, don't stop just because you're being lazy or because you don't want to do a certain assignment. Like there's always going to be an assignment or a test that you're not going to want to do, but it's just like if you push through it, I know that it's going to end up working out for you.
I guess I didn't really experience senioritis because I just kind of like wanted to be over with, just like finish high school, start a new journey, go to college and all that. But even now, I still don't feel it because even though it's like technically my last year, I still have to like apply to get my registry to the X-ray, and then have another pressure going on that I have to apply to medical school so I can, keep going on like with school. So not really experiencing. I just kind of like the journey, It's like, okay, I have all these obligations that I have to do.
All right, yeah, that's true. You have a lot going on your senior year, whether it's high school or college. You just got to make sure you push through. I like how they mentioned like talk about it, talk to somebody about it, because somebody's going through the same thing and they probably feel the same way. So there's no shame in feeling that way. And like we said, your feelings are valid and it's okay to push through those things, or sometimes just be like, I'm not doing anything, but only do that for like a couple days though. Don't do that for like months. That's not good. Anyway, so with COVID existing, how have you separated school and home since they essentially occur in the same place now?
I was able to separate them by literally just building a desk. Like when COVID hit and when we were all told that school was closing, I didn't have a desk. I had no workspace to be able to do homework. I did everything on my bed. I think my first semester I did everything on my bed. So I think that's really something that you should not do. Don't do that. Does not work out for you. But as soon as I built my desk, I was like, okay, I have my workspace, even though it's not as big. I can still have it be able to separate my school life from my everyday life. So it's just like I have all of my school supplies, all of my textbooks on my desk, and then but just nowhere near like everywhere else.
All right, so we'll move forward there. Any advice for incoming freshmen? This kind of goes back a little bit to our first question. Has anything surprised you when becoming a student, like costs or? But I think we should focus mainly on that first part of the question. Any advice for incoming freshmen?
Don't be I know a lot of us or a lot of you, because I know I was in the same boat, are considering going to community college first and then transitioning into a university. Don't be scared to take that alternative. It's a great alternative. Save money, save money, live better, literally. For me right now, I didn't take my I didn't decide to do that until later on. I took some of my prereqs at UNLV, but then I was like, it'd be good to save money. So I'm actually dual enrolling. I think that was one of the things that like they tell you that you can go to CSN and then transfer, but the option wasn't really given where you can actually dual enroll. So you can take some classes, like your prereqs at CSN and take your university classes at UNLV or whatever university or wherever you want to go. It really helps. You get to meet, I mean, I haven't gone to CSN's campus, but I feel like if you did take that option, you'd be able to meet different people, like a bunch of different people now that you're on 2 campuses. Plus you'd still be able to feel the college, like the college or the university atmosphere that you want. If you go to UNLV, you get the best of both worlds and you save money. So that was something I wish I had known prior to going to UNLV.
So my advice would be to acclimate yourself to the campus, to your surroundings, to your professors, to the resources that you have in your school or even outside. Um, just because that, and to ask a lot of questions, first of all. I feel like, some people may not want to ask questions or are just not looking at things deep enough to ask questions. So there's a lot of things that can help you out. I was struggling in math, so I went to this like math workshop and I didn't fail the class, so it was really helpful. And if you just acclimate yourself and I feel like if you just meet a lot of new people, like Angelica said, it's really fun to meet new people. um I think you'll do just fine.
I think one thing that you should know as an incoming freshman is just like use your what are they called, the school resources, like counseling, tutoring, everything. Just use them. Like they're there for a reason. Like you're paying for them. Use them. Don't like take advantage of them. I know that when I first came in, I was like, oh, am I gonna need it? Like no, like I'm too good for that. But then, after a while, you're like, okay, like you need help. You're struggling. Like there's some things that the teachers won't be able to help you with, some things that even your own classmates will be able to help you with. So having having all the resources that the school has like is a really good like thing to use.
I would say just make friends in your first year seminars because you never know where that's going to take you. Because in your first year seminars, it's like a bunch of majors in one. So if you make like a bunch of friends in there, or like at least try to make one friend, if you decide to change your major, hey, they'll tell you all about it and all that stuff. I wouldn't recommend joining a club just yet if you're still not sure of what you want to major in. So that's another advice I would give.
Great.
I kind of just wanted
Oh,
to
go ahead.
add on. I'm sorry. I kind of
No,
wanted to
go
add
ahead.
on. Oh, but I like lost my train of thought. Wow. Oh yeah. Back to using your resources. Speak with your academic advisor. They're gonna be like your counselors, the counselors that you have in high school. That's who they're going to be in college. They're called your academic advisors. Don't be scared to ask them questions. As for where to start looking for resources, ask them. They'll know. Like what is available to me. How do I get to it? Yeah, that's all. That's all.
Great, thank you. And that actually kind of, your guys' responses have kind of actually answered a little bit these next couple of questions. So how do you guys feel about attending college first and then transferring to university? Like Angelica mentioned, that's a great option. That can be something for you. Some people go to university and then wind up going to a community college. There's a lot of stigma, I think, between when people hear like, oh, I'm going to CSN. There's absolutely nothing wrong with going to CSN or any other kind of college or trade school, because that is also an option, or anywhere you want to go, because honestly, it's where you want to go. So it doesn't matter where you go as long as you're happy with it. So if you want to go to a college and then transfer to university, that is great. That's a great option. Just get in touch with people who can help get there and can make sure that you're on the right track, whether that's advisors or people from Fulfillment Fund like me, or one of our college counselors. Just make sure that you have the right support system, and then you're also talking to the right people to make sure that you're getting credits and they're transferable credits, and all of that stuff. I know I went to UNLV, and then I went to CSN, and then I went back to UNLV. So a whole experience. But yeah, just make sure you're talking to the right people. Have you utilized campus resources? Paola touched on that a little bit, that yes, she has. I'm sure a lot of us have. They're there for you, and you're paying, like I said, you're paying a lot of money, and those are free services on campus. So use those sources, okay? And then how do you get involved on campus? I do want to touch on Jorge. He mentioned, like being a first year, it may not be the best to get immediately involved in things. Of course, that's obviously up to you, but the transition from high school to college is really hard. So you might not want to pile a whole bunch of things onto your list of things to already do as a first year student. But has anybody, Paola, being a first year student, have you gotten involved on campus, or especially with COVID, how has that looked like for you?
So I haven't involved myself on anything on campus just because I don't really know what there is, and even if I did, I wouldn't know how to get my way around it. But I don't know, I just feel like, at least for me, in my experience, I don't know how it's gonna work for anyone else. But like for me, I feel like if I'm gonna get involved in like clubs or anything, I want it to be face to face and not online, because I'm already doing so many classes online. I don't want to get like the Zoom fatigue and then not want to not putting like my all into it. So
Yeah, so like Paola said, that's a great option. If you're really invested in wanting to get involved on campus, obviously that's a really great thing to do. I would just say, like, you have to be the one to look for that stuff. Like, you get a lot of emails, read your emails, look for things on campus, but you're really the one that has to go and put yourself out there to get involved. But there's tons of things on every campus. You can start your own stuff. So I would definitely look into that. Sorry, I'm trying to breeze through some of these questions because I don't want to keep everyone a whole bunch over time. Do any of you work while going to school? So can anybody raise their hand? Do any of you work right now while attending school? Okay, so what are some problems that you found arise with that, and how have you solved those problems?
I guess for me, it's not really like a problem. It's just like everything we learn in class is what we're basically doing at work. So I work at Desert Radiology and Desert Springs, and I do X-rays. So that's kind of like basically what we do. But there'll be like some problems. Like, okay, they'll teach you this a certain way in school, but it might be different in how you apply it in the real world. So I guess just like learn from your mistakes, and then also learn like new ways and how you can of what you learn and apply it.
So I just wanted to say that if you are planning to work while like going to school, that you should find a job that is like student friendly. I work at a daycare where my manager, well, the hiring manager was, she hired a bunch of other college students, and she was very understanding of our schedules. And if we needed to take time off because of school, she would allow that. So I feel like if you are fortunate enough and you do find a job that is, I would say find a job that is college friendly, student friendly.
All right, so we're going to move forward. Our next question is, did you have a dream college? Or are you at the college that is your dream?
I never really thought about that. I just kind of applied to a bunch of colleges and see which one accepted me. But the majority that I did apply did accept me, but I just stuck to this one because it's local and it's a little bit cheaper. So yeah.
I originally wanted to go to um, UCLA, but I was like, no, never mind. And I actually stumbled upon Nevada State on accident because Nevada State offers a lot of financial aid. especially if you apply to FAFSA before like at priority deadline. And I just was at Nevada State because it offers a lot of financial aid.
Yeah, I was at first I wanted to go to Southern Utah. I just like the area and everything, but I did end up going to Nevada State because they do offer a lot of financial aid. And even if you can't fill out your FAFSA, like they do offer good amounts of financial aid for undocumented students. Like you don't have to have that stress of, well, I can't fill out my FAFSA, like I can't go to college. Like you can't, like Nevada State offers really good financial aid for undocumented students.
I did have a dream college as well. I wanted to go to Grand Canyon University, but I decided to stay local. Wanted to stay close to my family as well. I have to say that if like, don't be bummed about not going to your dream school if it's not like attainable, or like because it's more like, I think like at the end of the day, not to like bash, because like UCLA, they're great credentials, obviously, if you want to go to Yale or Harvard, like yes, but at the like just know that you're achieving like the same things at the same time. Like you guys are doing the same things. You guys are gonna get not, I mean, I guess like a title could get you like a little bit in the door, but essentially you guys are going to be achieving the same things. You guys are gonna have the same papers, you're gonna have the same degrees. So don't be too bummed out. You're not missing on a lot. Just keep working and know that you're, you know, in the right place.
Very great point. Not everyone goes to their dream college. That's okay. I mean, you can always transfer later. You can, like, if your dream college is something that's like maybe too expensive right now, maybe if you're working and stuff like that, like overall, just have a plan, because eventually maybe you can get to your dream college. Maybe it's not right now, or maybe it's later as a graduate student. So just make sure that you're open to the options of being able to be flexible. Like we said earlier, you know, flexible on how to get there. If you're committed to your dream college, be flexible on how to get there, and eventually you will get there if that's something that you really want to do. So we have a general question. Can I go to UNLV to get my bachelor's degree? I'm going to say yes overall. That's not very specific. So UNLV does offer a lot of majors and a lot of degrees, and it's really, really broad in what they offer. So overall, I'm going to say yes, but there's some things that they might not offer. So if you're asking about a specific thing on if you like what to get your bachelor's degree in, I would need to know to have somebody answer that for you, or so you can email me later about that. But moving forward, I think this is our last question. How have you guys handled talking about flexible hours or asking for flexible hours as a student going to school to your managers? I'll kind of answer a little bit just because I also work and I go to school. You know, I was actually very fortunate. I feel like a lot of the time, like jobs it's give or take. Some jobs can be really flexible. Some jobs aren't going to be flexible at all. So just find the right place that's right for you. My job, I've been really fortunate for them to be really flexible. And that was just something I straight up asked, like, you know, like I'm going to school and that's my priority right now. Like school, like going to work and getting money is obviously a bonus, but it's something, and like it's something that I have to personally do. But you just have to be straight up with whoever. If you're going to interview with those people, then just make sure that's something that you're putting on the table. Like, I'm going to school. School is a priority for me. And hopefully they will understand. But I will also open this for the rest of the panelists to answer.
Yeah, so when I was getting interviewed for my current job, I made it very apparent that I am a student and that, you know, that it was really important to me. So like she said, make that a point and stick to it. And most jobs will tell you straight up, like, yeah, we can be flexible, or they won't. And if they're not, and school is really important to you, then you can find another job. That's it.
For me, there's no flexibility. We have a 12-hour shift, so that's kind of like our thing. But we only go to school like twice a week. So I only meet once on Monday. It's a 4-hour class, and then Tuesday again a 4-hour class, and then the rest of the week is you working. So So I guess just like it just depends on where you work to. Because for me, well, that's kind of part of our education as well. So whatever images that we take and all that stuff, we have to bring it to class and then present it to the whole class as part of like our project and stuff. So that's kind of like my take on it.
I have advice. It doesn't really answer your question, but I agree with what everyone says. Like make it apparent that your priority is school. One of the things that like I made a mistake on is that I kind of let like money I was like okay, like they were at first they told me that they were going to be flexible with my schedule, and then they weren't, and then I was like, ooh, more hours, more money, and then I totally like lost track of like what the priority was. I kind of just wanted to add on, like, don't get caught up in it. Like, this is whatever job you have now, like I'm sure that it's probably not your end goal, so just keep that in mind. Some managers may try to like sway you to like work more because like they think you can handle it, and they'll try to like, employers can be a little deceiving, so just look out for that, and stick to what your goals are.
Yeah, always ask your managers and stuff. I can't really ask mine because my manager is also my boss, and he's also my professor, and it's also the director. So no, I can't really ask much. He gave me that opportunity to be there, and I have to stick to it.
Yes, those are all really great points. And the last one I'm going to add on that is, try to find something within the field that you really like. I think that's why my job is extremely flexible with me going to school and me making sure that school is a priority, because the job that I'm currently in is actually in the career field that I want to continue to be in. So get a job, and if you're really adamant about working while going to school, then look for jobs that are within your field, because they'll be more flexible. Most likely, I'm not going to say yes, absolutely, but they most likely will be more flexible. And then on top of that, you're getting experience, you're networking, and it's going to be overall really great for you if you decide to go to graduate school, because you also already have that experience, or anything really else too. And then you can secure a job by the time you graduate, and then they have to pay you more money because you graduated. So try and find a job within your career field. I think that's the best advice if you want to work while in college, because honestly, they'll probably work with you better. And on top of that, it's great for you, because then on top of that, then you learn if you actually like it. Like, if you have a job that's already within the field, then you can be like, you know what, I absolutely hate this, and I hate these kinds of people, or whatever it may be. Or you're like, you can confirm that, like, hey, this is exactly what I want to do. And there's tons of places you can get internships, part-time jobs, anything like that, but you have to be the one to look, and you have to be the one to make that effort. And sometimes your professors too, they can also kind of hook you up with things like that. I get emails from my professors all the time about different places that are hiring within the field. So that was our last question. Thank you guys all for sticking with us to the end. I do have a few announcements, but before I get to those announcements, do any of our panelists have any kind of last comments they want to leave us with? These high school students, probably current college students as well. Is there anything you want to leave us with? No pressure to, though, but yeah.
Like, just enjoy it. Like, yeah, you're starting college in a not so favorable situation, but enjoy what you do have. And if you're not gonna go to college, that's completely okay. Like, don't feel pressured to go. And if you are, just use all of the resources that I have. Enjoy it. Take breaks. Don't stress yourself out too much. You know, there are going to be stressful situations, but no, it's okay. Just take your time and enjoy it.
All right, that is, oh, go ahead, Angelica.
Sorry, I just want to make a quick point, that college is what you make of it. So yeah, make the best of it. If it sucks, talk to people about it. Take care of yourself. You guys are, I know, like Paula said, it's not the most favorable situation at all. Don't be scared to reach out and reach out to like upperclassmen as well. I'm sure that you'll meet people who will want to help you. Yeah, you utilize your resources, but yeah, ultimately college is what you make of it. So
Yeah, so sorry, I know we're over time, but I just also wanted to add that there is, so I understand that college can be overwhelming and time management and stuff. They come hand in hand. And I just wanted to say that there is enough time in a day to do everything that you want if you allow yourself to have time. So you are ultimately in control of everything that you choose to do. Like I said earlier, your classes, your in-person, online kind of school, even if you're going to your job, you're in control of everything that you do. And if you ever feel like you're losing control, it's okay. Break down and then get right back up and keep going. But that's it.
All right, so thank you to these amazing panelists that we've had today. I know that was a lot. It was actually more questions than I expected. So thank you so much to our audience for asking all of those amazing questions. Like I said, thank you guys for being here tonight. And I'm actually going to share my screen. And like I said, I'm going to just go through a couple quick announcements. I'll breeze through these so then we can get you guys out of here. So share. All right, so in honor of thanking you guys for being here tonight, all attendees will be receiving a care package today, not a volunteer care package. Sorry, I left that in there on accident. You're going to receive a care package filled with items chosen by you. So what that means is I'm actually going to put on a poll, and you guys are going to, if you could see my screen here, you can text in or you can open another tab. So what kind of items do you want in a care package? Especially since a lot of us are actually going to go back to in-person pretty soon. So I'm gonna leave this open. So I'm gonna go ahead and start it. So you can text this number up here, or you can go to this, what is this called, URL, and then put it in this code and it'll get you to this. And then you can put in as many answers as you want, because we want to get care packages to you with stuff that you guys actually need for school and stuff. The only guidelines that we're going to kind of have is obviously like, don't ask for a laptop. I wish I could give everyone laptops. That would be absolutely amazing, but I can't do that. So I can't put a laptop in your care package. So nothing extremely expensive, please. Nothing like extremely technological kind of thing. But also to our panelists, if you guys want to go ahead and answer this poll too, you can suggest some things to me that maybe I can put in the care packages that you guys wished you had while you were in high school or whatever. So I'm gonna leave this open for a few minutes. I'm also going to put some music on, so that we're not sitting here in really weird silence. But please answer this poll because I want to make sure that we're getting care packages with items filled with stuff that you like. So I'm going to leave this on for a few minutes. Please put in as many items as you want. And obviously within reason, like no laptops, please. But I'm going to leave this on for like a minute or two, but go ahead and answer that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and stop this in a few seconds. So give you your last couple tries. All right, and then go back to this here. So thank you for taking that poll. I'll make sure to get as much of those things that you guys suggest in there as possible. But moving forward, last few announcements. So we do have a volunteer challenge still going on. And you guys panelists, you're more than welcome to participate this as well. So our volunteer challenge goes with our last volunteer webinar that we had a few weeks ago. And basically, if you guys go and volunteer, take a picture, and then tag us on social media, then you can be entered into a smartwatch giveaway. So go out and volunteer. It's really great opportunity. It's really fun to volunteer. It looks great on resumes. It looks great on all those types of things, especially for school. So if you want to go and volunteer, we did extend the deadline as well. So you have until April 17th to volunteer, take a picture, like I said, and then follow us on social media, and then tag us with that picture, and then you can be entered to win a smartwatch. Another thing we have going on is our scholarship. So for all of you seniors at Democracy Prep or at Chaparral, if you have a 2.0 GPA or higher, our scholarship is open to you. So the deadline is coming up April 4th. Please fill it out. And if you have any questions, you can direct them to our scholarship staff. So I will put the link and the information on anybody that you can get in contact with if you have any questions in the chat right now. So there's the link, and then if you have any questions about the scholarship or any issues with it, those are all the emails of the people that you can contact to get help with that. Our other last slide, almost done, I promise. We do have our giveaway, our end of the giveaway semester. This is where we will be giving away laptops. So for every webinar you attend, that is one entry into our end of the semester giveaway. So a few weeks ago was our student volunteer webinar. So that was one entry. Today you will get another, or if this is your first one, and you now have 3 more opportunities to also get put into that raffle. So at the end of the semester, we will put all those names together, however many webinars you attended, that's how many times you will be in this. And then we'll be giving away a few laptops. So make sure you're attending our other webinars, as well as following us on social media so that you can know when to get, when to register for all of these events. And then we do have our next one coming up actually in 2 weeks, which is Fulfilled. And then we'll have 2 other webinars. And then the last thing I'm going to leave you with tonight is just to stay connected with us on social media. So I'm also going to put these in the chat. If you want to follow us, you can. And these are the links too. And then, you know, so that you can just continue to be up to date on all the information that we give out in terms of webinars or any other things that we're doing for Fulfillment Fund. So if you need help with anything, I'm Miss Via. You can reach out to me anyway. And then we also have a whole bunch of people that we can help you. So last but not least, thank you so much to our panelists again for joining us here tonight and sticking with us for a whole extra half an hour to answer these amazing questions. So yeah, we're going to end it right there. Thank you all for coming. I'll see you in 2 weeks, hopefully. Please come to the next webinar. So thank you, everyone. Good night.